So we are live. That was me sending a message. Well, usually before we start, okay, so we're live. Sorry, Elliot, look at that face. He's been interrupted. Come on, bring back the flow, buddy. Let's do this. Let's do this because we need
we
to
already
deliver.
started the podcast recording, right?
Oh, has it already? No,
Yeah,
goodness me.
that's it. It
I feel
started. So
bad.
that's it.
Me
And you
so
know us, we're
sorry.
one podcast. So we don't rewind. So, I was ready to go, welcome to the Public Speaking Expert Podcast. And then Jose's like, blah, 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 which means the first thing people are going to hear when they tap onto this amazing episode with amazing guests is you're going, blah, 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 blah. Jose, what kind of intro is that going to be?
That is going to be the intro where we were preparing for the intro, where we're actually going to intro. So you see what I'm coming, from with the intro regarding the intro. We're about to intro. So people, the thing is, there are some glitches with the system. So what are we going to do about it? We're going to keep on going. And what I wanted to say, Elliot, before you went live, you're always rushing. And I'm with the Latin American pace still. Well, compared to me, I'm like, hey, come on, you guys. No, it's not true.
That's because you're like, hey, I'm South America, man. I just drink and smoke and what's
up today, yo. Well, actually, why don't we do the Welcome to the Public Speaking Experts podcast, and then we just go with the song, and because we do the bit of dance and everything.
Are you gonna sing?
Well, it is like a song. I mean, to me, it feels like a song when we start the podcast, and there's the Welcome to the Public Speaking Experts podcast.
I know, but you do know that will glue that on, right? You do know how it works.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, but what do you mean?
Sorry, Stephanie, he's a bit slow. He still doesn't quite get this whole podcast thing.
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think it's the first podcast I'm doing. Actually, Stephanie, I'm going to address the elephant in the room, and the elephant is not Elliot in this case. It's actually, I'm nervous because you're here. That's it.
Oh, I see. That's the truth.
I said it.
I thought I was the elephant in the room for a moment.
No, you wouldn't be.
Only giraffe.
Definitely, yeah, exactly. Giraffe or Elliot. You'd be like the rose.
I know you should be between us, really, but you're not.
You should.
Yeah.
But hey, we have to go. But welcome to the Public Speaking Expert Podcast. We've had a few glitches with our technical, hence Jose speaking, mumbling away at the beginning there. But that's okay, because that's what we do here. The Public Expert Speaking Podcast is we do not chop, we do not edit, we just do it, and we put our back into it. Do you like what I did there?
Yeah, I like it.
I know. And today we have a guest, don't we, Josie?
We do, Elliot. We do have a very special guest, and she is amazing, and she looks amazing.
She does.
Unlike you.
Hey.
I mean,
Stephanie said I look amazing. She's been watching me take my clothes off.
Exactly.
Oh, is that the conversation we're having today?
No, that's not the conversation we're having today.
Okay. Because I've got a few
But the conversation we are having today is all about how you go from being a free speaker to a fee speaker. Ooh. But before that, we have Stephanie Taylor in the podcast. Woo. Who's going to share with us her journey. But also, Stephanie Taylor is a property investor. She's a philanthropist. She's a mentor. She's a coach. She's an award winner. She's a podcaster. She's an author. There's no end to this woman's talent. And we're so happy and blessed to have you on the podcast. Stephanie, welcome to the Public Speaking Expert Podcast.
Elliot,
how are you?
It's amazing to be here. Jose, it's good to be in the room. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay,
it's a pleasure.
People, get ready. Get your ears ready. Yes, I'm going to shout a little bit. I want everyone to help me with this, and I'm speaking to the audience as well. People listening to this, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Come on, get the energy up.
Oh, it works.
Welcome, Stephanie Taylor, and we've got sound effects here back. Come on, everybody, round of applause. Stephanie Taylor in the room.
Let's see if it really works. They're back. So now we can do this, back. Stephanie. Before we get going with you, are you ready? Here we go.
Welcome to the Public Speaking Experts Podcast with Elliot K. and Jose UCAR. Every week we bring the tips, tools, and strategies for you to become a world-class public speaker. We bring you guests, experts, and authorities in the field of public speaking to enrich you and enhance your public speaking journey. Remember to subscribe, rate, and comment. And now, please welcome your hosts, Elliot and Jose.
Yay! I feel like we've now officially started. Stephanie, welcome to the show. You see what energy that injects into the beginning of our show?
I love that. I'm so pleased that I was there for it, that we got the intro.
We did. I mean, Stephanie, there's something I've got to tell you. I've been waiting to tell you. Ready?
I love you.
There we go. I've said it.
Oh, Elliot, that means the world to me.
I
I'm
thought so.
so pleased that I've come on the podcast today.
I am. So tell us a little about yourself. I know I've given you a big intro, but tell us a little bit about your journey and how you've ended up speaking generally.
Yeah, so basically what happened is my life blew up in my 40s. I had never really thought of myself as a business person or a property investor or any of that stuff. And in my 40s, I had one of those phone calls that changed everything.
Was it
And
from Jose?
Well, back then I was married. Well, I'm married again, so be careful, Stephanie, with what you say.
Jose called to say he loved me, but you said that today as well, Elliot. Yeah, and Jose's call changed everything. And after that, that gave me a little bit of courage to get started in property. And we started, my sister and I, through a little known strategy called rent to rent. From there, we built up our own property portfolio, become property developers, and we started Rent to Rent Success. We wrote the book on it, which is all about that strategy where you can make money from properties you don't own. We've got a top 1.5% global podcast called Rent to Rent Success. And more recently, we started teaching in Blow Up Your Life, women over 40, how to blow up their life and make their futures better than their pasts.
I was almost tempted to come up with a really bad joke there about blowing up your life, but I don't think
Oh,
I'm going to
dear.
go there. I don't think it'd be politically correct nor go down well. But I think that's incredibly exciting. I think
Yeah.
everything you do, and it's all geared towards. You have a really important mission, don't you? You have a very important purpose with what you do. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I suppose the motto of everything that we do is believe bigger, be bolder, be a game changer. Believe bigger, so that for so many of us, and especially people who are listening to shows like this, we want to become a better version of ourselves. We want to improve our skills. We want to grow. And that all starts off with the believing that more is possible for ourselves than we currently know and can quite believe. And Be Bolder is all about standing out there, exactly what you say, Elliot and Jose, being more giraffe and being bolder in the face of people criticizing and laughing at your dancing. So, so that's Be Bolder. And Be a Game Changer is all about you become a leader in your own life, in your family, in your community, and in our world. And you get to give. And part of what we're creating is financial abundance. And one of the most exciting things that we're doing is we're setting up a charitable trust. It's an accommodation and education trust for young women.
Amazing, amazing. Jose, I know you've got a question.
First of all, Stephanie, I like the fact that we've got the sound effects and we say I love you, ich liebe dich, auf Deutsch, but there isn't one that says te amo.
Yeah, well,
So
why would we get that?
That's the one for you. Hey, shut up. This is my moment.
Why would
now.
we get
This
that?
is my moment.
Who wants Spanish stuff, eh?
Well, true. Yeah, let's actually
Just
get
for
it.
you,
Get the audience to vote.
I'm going to find a Te Amo one, okay?
No, it's okay. I'm happy to say to Stephanie Te
listen,
amo.
I'm half South American too. My mom's Argentinian. It's in my blood. Don't you turn your head at me, young man.
No, of course not. I'm looking at Stephanie now. Stephanie, can we get Elliot out for a moment? I mean, I think he needs to get a room for himself. There we go. Anyway. So, Stephanie, what a pleasure to have you with us today. And you said that you received a call from Jose when you were 40. What is your message? Because I know, and I speak to loads of people, men and women. If you want to make it around women, that's perfectly fine. Because it's all good when we finally made it to a certain level. We come out of that deep hole and we are somewhere else in our lives. But I've been in that hole. I've been, down there, and I know many people have been there just like you were. What would you say to these people? What can they do in order to start making some change when everything feels and seems so difficult or almost impossible?
Yeah, that you can blow up your life starting from wherever you are. And what I love about blow up your life is some people love the name, some people hate it. It's got negative connotations, it's got positive connotations. But how I mean it is that every single person has their own desires within them. However, most of us do not listen to ourselves. Like, when you and Elliot get together, for example, You talk to Elliot, you find out about everything that's going on with him, and that's how you get to know him, and you get to deepen the relationship. And maybe you get to laugh at his dancing and things. He gets to laugh at your singing, that sort of thing. But you
Crying as
get to
well.
know each other.
Hmm.
But for most of us as individuals, we don't really know ourselves, because whenever we can talk to ourselves and listen to what our own minds are saying, listen to what our hearts are saying, we're on social media, we're listening to podcasts like this. So that's a good thing. That's a good part. Keep listening to the podcast. We're watching YouTube, we're watching television, we're reading books. We're always taking in information. And even if you watch and look at people standing in a supermarket, they'll get their phones out, because even those few minutes, they don't want to listen to their own minds. And sometimes that can be because what they're saying to themselves in their own minds is so negative. So it's 3 L's: love, listen, and lead, that really kickstart how you can change your life.
Love, listen,
Love,
lead.
listen,
Mm,
and lead.
mm. Yes. So
I
the
like it.
first one is, we all know that our brains have a negativity bias. We can remember insults much more than we can remember compliments. And it's obviously to keep us safe when we're scanning the savannah and making sure that there's no dangers out there, nothing's going to eat us. But nowadays, with the sort of lives we lead, we don't need to have that negativity bias, but many of us do have it. And we run tapes such as, "Oh, you've done that again. Oh, you
Did you
didn't
say
go to the gym
tapes?
again."
Did you say
Yeah, oh
tapes?
god, that's showing my age, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, that really did show your
Well,
age.
we can.
Normally it's called programs, but you called it tapes. Okay. Go on, carry on with your tapes. So for those of you like, I don't know, in the 30s listening to this, tapes are these things we used to have that you put in this machine called a tape player, and they used to either record or play. But it's like what you have on your Spotify used to exist in these chunky things called tapes. Carry on, Stephanie.
Yeah. And you're playing these audios like, "I'm so shit, of course that never worked out, you're not enough, you're you're bad," in all sorts of different ways. One of the ways that people can recognize, especially at this time of year, we're recording in January, is either "I'm too fat," "I ate too much," "I've got no willpower." All of these negative play tapes that just don't get us very good results, but they feel really true, but they're not true, guys. So step one is love. You have to start speaking to yourself like a good friend, like you would somebody you love. Like, what could I do? Or how can I, if you chose an exercise regime with love, if you chose what you're going to eat tomorrow with love, what would you choose and how would it be different? And that's the first one, love. And the next one, listen, is what I alluded to before. Make space in your day to actually listen to your brain. Um, Ask yourself, what do I really want? What do I really like? What do I really dislike? Why am I an amazing person? And what would I like to improve upon? So that's love, listen, and then lead. You have to lead yourself, because it's not as easy as just loving yourself, listening to yourself, because you will make your plan today, let's say to go to the gym, and you haven't been to the gym for a year, maybe. Not you, you've been a lot of times and done a lot of running, but maybe you haven't been in a while. And so this is a new thing that you're going to do. In the morning, it's almost guaranteed that your brain's going to say, it's going to offer you, "Oh, let's stay in bed. Let's go to the gym tomorrow. You don't really need to go to the gym. You don't actually look that bad. Oh, I don't know." And it's going to offer you all of those. So you need to be able to lead yourself with love to be able to get those long-term results that you want to achieve. So that's the final one, that's lead.
I like it. So what I want to hear now is your journey to speaking a little bit, and let's talk about
Yeah.
that, and then we'll have a little break, and then we'll come back and talk about how you started to get paid to speak. So Stephanie, tell us, like, when was your first kind of speaking gig, and how did you come about it? And I don't think you were paid for that, were you?
No. I hadn't been paid to speak until I started working with you, Elliot, and then the
Woohoo!
magic happened. So what happened was, I was I was doing property. I was running a property management business. I'd started buying properties and become a property developer, developing properties from commercial into residential. And people were asking, how was I doing it? And because of that, we started teaching. And because of that, we got asked to speak a lot. But the very first time was in London to a women's event. And that really changed the trajectory of things. In fact, we weren't teaching people at that time. We were teaching people for free on my Facebook page and on YouTube. I was explaining how to do things. But at that time, we weren't teaching in a paid basis. But we went along to do that event. I was very nervous about it. And we're based in Wales, so I traveled to London for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it went really well. And as a result, a lady in the audience said, I would really like to work with you. Can you mentor me? And at the time, I had thought of doing a training program, but we hadn't created it yet. So I explained all this to her and I worked with her on a one-to-one basis. But that was really the very start of it. So I think speaking gives you so many different opportunities to grow as a person and develop your speaking skills, but also the connections that you make are so good.
Sounds good. Like, did lots of those, right?
Yeah, loads. And in property, which is where I started speaking, there are lots of local meetings up and down the country, and they're all looking for speakers. So, there were lots and lots of opportunities for me to speak and improve my skills.
Your skills that pay the bills. They're all coming out today. That's right. Right here,
Yes.
right now. Awesome. Well, let's take a quick break and then we'll come back to find out you're moving from free to fee, because that's what today's all about. Jose, do you want to take this away?
You are listening to the Public Speaking Experts podcast. If you like what you're hearing, we invite you to subscribe to the podcast, leave a comment, and in exchange, you will receive incredible gifts from Elliot and myself. Also, if you like the podcast, the content, the guest speakers we're inviting, how about you get in touch with us? Connect with Elliot and myself online, social media, anywhere. We would love to speak to you and help you speak your greatness. In the meantime, carry on listening, enjoy, and connect.
Brilliantly done. Well done. Love it. So there we go. And this podcast is sponsored by what, Jose? And by who this time?
This time, since it is Stephanie, I don't know why I'm saying this, then it will be sponsored by Stephanie. What would you like it to be today, Stephanie, for you?
Blowupyourlife.com.
There you go.
Where you can find out how to ignite your spark.
There we go. Blowupyourlife.com, where you can find out how to ignite your spark at blowupyourlife.com. There we go. That's what the episode is sponsored by.
Hopefully,
And more about that
my
later.
wife. Well, what about what later? What I mean, the thing is, when you said blow up my life, I thought about my wife listening to this and then blowing me up. But I don't know whether that's funny or not. But it could happen.
Maybe. I mean, she might like to the spark up your. Anyway, we won't go there right now. But yeah.
You've been wanting to say that so badly until now. Okay, all right, there we go. It's okay, blow up my
came
bubble.
out. Okay, that's it. I couldn't hold
glad
on.
I give some entertainment.
There we go. No, but in all seriously, do check it out. And of course, what I was going to say later is Stephanie is going to plug it even more and tell people where to find her and follow and things like that. So, Jose, do you have a question, or shall I just keep going? Because I'm
keep going. If you're pow, because I've got one, and I'm sure we'll get there.
You go then.
Yeah.
No, I'll stop my pow for your question.
Oh, sorry, I haven't got any pow then. It's just a question.
You got pow. I'm just.
I always do have some pow. Okay, so I'll give Stephanie some pow as well. Oh goodness me, I'm sorry, Stephanie. Well, I love you and we love you. So what is, because we get this question a lot, and Elliot and myself have got our versions and our strategies to get paid to speak and to go out there and everything else. Actually, before that, there's one thing you share. When you went there, you presented, and even though some parts of the business weren't ready, still you had a person interested in what you were sharing. So the first thing I would like to say is that's the beauty of speaking. That's the beauty of putting yourself out there with the intention of helping, not just I'm going to do it because I'm going to sell myself to people and things like that. So that is one thing which is very important. So well done for that. I just wanted to highlight it. And then the next one is, what is your strategy, weekly strategy, to get on stages and get paid to speak?
Well, I have to be honest with you, Jose, and say I did not have a strategy, because my belief was I would not get paid to speak, that people
Oh.
don't pay people to speak in property. At my level, I thought I was too, I could see how famous people could get paid to speak, or kind of semi-famous people, but not me. And
But you're a speaker.
yeah, in my kitchen, yeah.
Well, remember the 3 L's.
Right.
Exactly. Love,
Love.
listen, and lead.
Listen
Exactly.
and
Listen
lead.
to Elliot.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
then
milk
blow him up.
So yeah, tell us about that move to getting paid then.
Get the leap to getting paid. So that was really a change in thinking and seeing a possibility, a little bit of light around the doorway. And really, when I joined your 10K speaker program, I was fortunate that I was there at the session where you were explaining what to say. Somebody had asked a question within the group, what to say when you're negotiating.
You asked the
Say,
question.
oh, did I ask?
It was you that asked the question, yeah.
I thought somebody else had asked.
No.
Somebody else had asked something that made me think of the question then. And it was what to say if somebody gets in touch with you about doing a speech. And you said, ask them what the budget is.
Uh-huh.
And and you said a lot of other things, but I was thinking, oh, well, it's not really applicable to me because this isn't going to happen. Nobody's going to be asking me to speak with the idea of paying me. And
Which tape were you listening to in your head, Stephanie Taylor?
yes,
Which cassette, vinyl, LP were you listening to?
a very old one,
Right.
scratched and everything.
Yes, it sounds like it.
So I was listening to that's exactly it, Elliot. We're all listening to these tapes that are not serving us whatsoever. But sometimes you need a person to, not always, you can do it for yourself as well, but often it's easier to have someone outside. And so I listened to your tape where people get paid. You can get paid. You can ask people, what is the budget for this?
It's one of my greatest hits.
What's your budget?
And the very next day, I was on a Zoom call with somebody. They'd seen me talk at a Zoom meeting, 5 a.m. club it was called. They'd seen me talk at the 5 a.m. club, and he was from a big corporate company. And he said, oh, we've got an event coming up and we're looking for a speaker to speak on property. So I said, yes, more than delighted to come along. So he asked me is it your card?
Your rate card.
Yes. He asked me about my card, and my answer was not very good. Elliot, you would have slapped my wrist, definitely, and said, I've got nothing to do with her, never seen her before.
I don't believe you.
Anyway, he asked me about my card, and I was more or less saying, I think I actually said, oh, no, I speak for free. I thought, shut up. Anyway, I somehow got that message in my mind. Just ask them what the budget is. That's what Elliot said. Ask what the budget is. So I backpedaled and I said, actually, what's the budget for this? Now I was starting to sound, no, I wasn't sounding like I knew what I was talking about, but I asked what the budget was. And they told me, they didn't tell me out there, but later on in the conversation, he said he would prefer to pay me, and I asked for £1,000. But later on during the conversation, I was curious and I said to him, because he explained that some people were speaking who had 50,000 subscribers on Instagram, i.e., influencers, and they had other things going on, on YouTube and so on. I had at the time 5,000 subscribers on Instagram. And so I said, so he knew me. So I said, well, what would you expect somebody in my position to have to charge? And he said, well, you've got, a decent Instagram following, plus you've got a book, a podcast. Not that you have to have all these things and other social media going on. And he said, I would have been expecting, I think you should start the negotiation at £3,500. which I nearly fell off my chair, Elliot.
Don't
And so it was a
surprise me.
very useful negotiation, and I was delighted to get paid £1,000. But the more useful payment was in that extra knowledge to ask for so much more next time.
Yeah. And so what's that done for you now in terms of how do you see when someone approaches you now about speaking? What's that done for you? What cassette is playing now?
Yeah.
Or what tape is playing now?
Well, this cassette now is I'm providing massive value, and some people want to pay for it. And it won't be everybody who's approaching me, but I can always assume and ask the questions. And so now some very small, like a church group, asked me to speak, and a university alumni group asked me to speak. And both times I asked them what the
What's the
budget
budget?
was,
And what
kind
was
of
the answer?
expecting there to be no budget. But what they said was they did have small budgets. And what I did was I charged them a small amount, and I also gave them some copies of, I was talking about the property side, so I gave them some copies of the Rent to Rent Success book as well. And they paid for the talk and the books.
Wow. So now that you lead with that question now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You see, love it. Yeah, and I remember when we had that conversation, because Stephanie, would you mentor me for free? You're like, no. Like, that was a solid no.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, why not? And you're like, well, because I know all these strategies and I know all this stuff. And I was like, exactly. It's the same with an audience. When someone is booking you, they're booking you for your expertise, right? And that's what they're going to pay you to speak about. So I love this new change, and I love this new Spotify list you're playing versus your old
Yes.
tapes. Right? I love what's
Totally.
happened here. It's really changed how you approach things. Jose, I can see you as a question, bro. He does this little bop and then he goes like
No,
this with his lip, right?
I'm
Mm. I got a
Mm-mm-mm.
question.
I'm loving the conversation, and I'm even thinking that there could be a podcast episode dedicated to what's your budget, even calling it that, what's your budget, because what a powerful question. And I know Elliot speaks about this a lot on Clubhouse, on the mastermind, which is incredible. What is your budget? So sometimes it's just, yeah. And the thing is, then you come from that map of the world, if you like. I mean, in my mind, I'm expecting to get paid for what I do. So already that question comes out naturally. I loved it, Stephanie. And the transformation as you were sharing it, going through your story, was fantastic. So
Yeah.
well done, you. I just love that. People, you see, Stephanie got that call when she was 40. A few years later, look at where she is now. And still, the opportunities that you
And
have
she's
for
only
growth to
41,
impact.
by the way.
Exactly. So yeah, in less than a year.
Yeah.
When you tell me, I mean, I'm not going to say it here, but when you
Well, I
actually,
don't mind saying I do share it.
okay, well, I would
Everywhere.
never, honestly, if you said, how old do you think I would never have given you the age you gave. Like, honestly, I'm not blowing smoke. I just wouldn't.
No,
You know,
honestly, yes, true,
Thank
true.
you.
I
you
mean, I
look
look at
so young and
myself.
vibrant. I mean, look at Jose. He's had a rough
Absolutely.
life and he shows it, right?
Exactly.
But
So I'm
you, on the
showing,
other
I'm
hand,
showing.
Oh, I love
No,
you
it's
too.
incredible. It's incredible.
You actually are like a double act.
yeah, we are a bit like that. You know,
Yeah.
he's got the
Well,
looks, I've got the brains. Yeah, let's
Thank you.
make
So I
lots of money.
always, yeah. So I've
you've got
got
the
I've got.
body.
Well,
Uh,
who's got the body again?
The body.
I've seen
Yeah.
it on Facebook. I'm sorry,
Oh, Elliot.
Jose, but it's Elliot K.
No, it's
Um,
okay. It's okay. No need to be sorry. I mean, he's a tiny man, and then I provide, I
A
provide the
tiny man.
muscle. I provide the muscle. Well, I mean,
Ah,
if I stand next to you, I mean, you look tiny. No, I
that
mean,
is
it's
true.
just what I am. I'm,
You know, Stephanie,
bigger
last
in
week
in
after the
physique.
trainings, we went out in London and we were out to 4 a.m. I was expecting you to come to that. And we were
if
proper
you
busting
told
some
me
moves. Huh?
there was things going on, I need to get to these.
You do, man. I tell you, it
Please
wasn't
do.
planned,
Yes.
but you know what?
No.
I outdanced Jose. Jose couldn't keep up with me. So I might be a tiny man, but I got some moves.
Where is, I want to see the cassette. I want to see the recording, the tape from that day, because I remember being with you. I don't know whether I wasn't that. I mean, I think I did dance. Yeah, Elliot has got incredible moves when it comes to dancing. I don't break like him, but I still provide the rhythm. I provide
The
the
bougie.
merengue, the salsa, the thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's
We
stop making it
digress.
about us. Yes, we're
So-
digressing big time, Stephanie. Back to
What
Snake
you.
would
hips.
you? Sorry, Stephanie. What do you want to say?
Snake hips.
Snake.
Jose.
Ooh,
Is that what? That's what he's bringing to the party, I think.
you're bringing snake hips. Ooh, Jose, you little snake, you.
Mm.
We have to see these snake hips. I can't quite remember your snake hips, but now I'll be looking out for them. Is that what
Well,
you
I
bring
don't-
to the
I don't
party,
know.
Stephanie?
No,
Do you bring snake?
yeah, exactly. What are those? I'm lost here. I'm lost in translation. Absolutely.
She's talking about the
Snake hips.
motion. You know.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
because
so
you
a
said
snake hip-
merengue and all of that.
Yeah, snake hips. I get it.
Yeah. I'll
Okay.
He's
bring a bit
not
of
from the same
jiggy-jiggy.
cassette era as us. He plays a different tape.
Ah,
You see, that's
Right.
what it is.
Sorry, guys. Yeah.
I'll bring a bit of jiggy jiggy to the party.
Mm.
Although that might be from a different tape cassette deck as well.
Jiggy, jiggy snake, hips and breaking. Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's do this. What party it's going to be? Next one's in March. Anyway, we digress. So, Stephanie, what would you say to anyone that's hesitant to ask to get paid? What would you say to them? Now you've gone, because you've gone through that transformation, you've been there, you obviously have that empathy. What would you say to them?
I would say what I have found to be the most effective, which is you can do it yourself and sit at your desk and try to reprogram your mind so that you can do what you need to do, which is just believe you can get paid and then take the actions from there. But what I found worked really well for me was actually being part of a community where everyone was doing it, and where there are actual, as well as that one question, there are lots of other questions, and there's approaches, and there's way to put yourself out there, so to speak, on LinkedIn and other places in a way that people come to you expecting to pay. So there are lots of other elements to it apart from the one thing that we've discussed, which is the question you asked. Well, that's one question you asked, the approach you have, how you put yourself out there and so on, and how you build up that brand as a paid speaker. So if you work with someone, you get all of that. And especially with what I particularly did in the 10K speaker is you have the community of other people. And that is so inspiring as well, because you see other people getting results from things like putting themselves on LinkedIn and having people inquire back and say they want them to speak. And so I think get some help.
Get some help. Good. And what's really nice to hear, because I know some of the other people, in terms of your mentors, I know they're really high caliber as well. So it's so nice to hear that from you about us as well. So thank you for that. I received that with love. Jose, you got your question face on.
No, that wasn't. That was the appreciation phase. So work on that, Elliot. You're not spotting exactly where I'm coming from. I'm in agreement here because it's about the power of a community and being in a place where other people are achieving things, and then automatically helps you shift in your mindset. The content Elliot delivers is incredible, and the speakers he's invited, amazing. Going back to the power of connections, what a difference that makes. So you built an incredible community, Elliot K, and I would like the audience, because he's helped me as well. Being part of that community and being with Elliot has also helped me. I'm not going to lie, even though I hate to admit it sometimes. I'm only joking. Let's just give a round of applause to Elliot K for doing everything he does. Come on,
Thanks,
yay! Elliot, play the applause
the intention
thing.
here was not for this to happen, but thank
Aye,
you.
just a little bit. Let's just play the applause thingy in the system. Come on, a round of applause to Elliot K for helping so many people.
Do you want
Well
cheering
for
or
receiving it.
clapping?
Whatever you fancy, buddy, just go for it. Yay! Yay! Round of applause to Elliot K.
It goes on for
He's a great
35 more
human being.
seconds. Can you keep it up?
Yay.
Thank you. I just like to thank my mom.
Next time we go out, you can pay for my drinks. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I paid for your drinks. You paid one round. I paid two. Not that I remember. Anyway, let's keep going.
Yes, please, because alcohol does affect memory, they say.
That was a good line.
Super Stephanie, look, you are where you are today. And you have shown the world, everyone listening to this, that it is possible. It's not just me and Elliot saying it, that it is possible. You are sharing it is possible. Where do you see yourself next, whatever next means for you?
Yeah, well, I see myself as an international speaker, which is a bit of a leap because I've had a few
Woohoo!
corporate gigs now in the
That
four
definitely
figures.
gets
The reason why is the property talking I do is normally about a UK based property strategy, and my expertise is very focused on the UK. But with blow up your life, I am getting inquiries. Like I just recently did a wealth summit that was organized from South Africa.
Oh yeah, I saw
And
you that. Well done. I'm sure I
yeah,
commented on it.
that
Well
was
done.
great fun. And I think as blow up your life grows, that I will be speaking around the world. I can picture it in my Spotify.
Yes, yeah, we've upgraded from cassette to
You got
Spotify
a
list.
super duper playlist in the
Yeah,
international
yeah.
speaker.
Yeah, I've got a good
Amazing.
playlist. So it's exciting. And I know that with all because it's not only how to ask, it's also being able to deliver something special when you speak. And that's another thing that with your keynote strategy, and it really helps to know that what I'm delivering is going to hit the spot.
Well, just to remind you, you still have 2 sessions to book in with me. So make sure you book them in with me. That's part of
I
it.
will. I will.
Listen, I think Stephanie, without a doubt, here's with you what's really impressive, having worked with you for a few months now and got to know you, is you're a doer, right? You learn something and you execute, and you can see that with everything across channels, across. We had that call, we did the mastermind, and then the next day, boom, execute, like done. And because you're a doer, it's going to happen. I mean, it's inevitable because you're not like, let me wait for the right time. It's not this. I just need to learn this. I just need to overcome this. I just need to deal with this. Just more 6 years of therapy and I'll be ready, right? It's like, but it's like I can see you absorb what your mentors teach you and you just do. And that's
Yeah.
a great quality to have, because also equally you don't question it too much. You've got that absolute faith that I've chosen you to work with you.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm going to do what you ask me to do. Obviously, as long as it's moral, legal, and not fattening, right? So as
I
long
love
as
it if
that's
it's
the
fattening.
case, I think my little girl's going to come say hello. 1 second. Here's another podcast recording.
Ariela.
She came last time we were doing a podcast recording.
Yes,
We're doing
did.
podcast recording, so say hi to everybody.
Ariela, hello.
You can speak,
Hello, Ariela.
Hello, my love.
She
I love you.
cannot hear us. Maybe that's
Yeah,
why
do you want
she's
to
not
put the
speaking.
headphones on while we're
Come
doing
on,
the
give her
quick
the
podcast
headphones.
recording? My beautiful
Take it
girl.
away, Ariela.
Hello.
Hola, Ariela. Hello.
You know, there's people listening to you around the world. What are you going to say to them? Should they follow their dreams?
I like speaking to you.
You like speaking to us. Who's that in the
So
middle
do
there?
we.
Jose.
And that's Stephanie. Do you remember Stephanie? You met a long time ago.
Don't know me.
Hey, Ariela. Hola. Bye, Ariela. Mwah.
My beautiful girl.
Bye. Bye.
I'll see you in a minute, yeah?
I cannot wait for Ariela to grow up and
She
take
fell
over
over.
the podcast.
Yes.
I'm glad Elliot is not listening now, Stephanie. So
There we go. Everything live, everything real. Can you get out? Yeah. Okay, cool. I didn't mean it like that, as in, can she open the door? I didn't mean, can you get out, for everybody listening on the recording. As
how
in,
much?
can-
How much is she getting paid?
Not
in terms
enough.
Of doing
Not
this?
enough.
Not enough.
but
Yeah.
She's so
Well
adorable.
done.
So there we go. Just like everything, like last time. Hey, Stephanie, she popped in when we were recording our
Yes,
podcast on your podcast. So please make sure you give your podcast a shout as well. Sorry, where were we before I go into my beautiful princess, who just completely has me under the thumb? What were we talking about? I lost my thread. Talking about you being a doer. And that's, I think, what everybody can take away from listening to Stephanie. She had that call from Jose when she was 40, and she took action. And a decade later, she's in a completely different place. And, not just as a speaker, but as a person, and she's doing so much amazing work. And I think sometimes you just need to do, right? Not question, not just go for it. And if you've chosen people to work with, trust that they've got the best for you. And I really hope you always choose people that do have the best for you, right? And I think that's phenomenal, because I can just see in all the channels you're involved in, the podcasts, your social media, all the work you do because you care. but also you execute. And there's so much to be said about being consistent as well. So if you're not already, and Stephanie's going to tell you how to follow her and how to get in touch with her in a second, but I just want to say it's just absolutely a pleasure to watch your journey and to see, you grow and grow. And I know you haven't been able to attend the last few, but that's because of how busy you are, not because you're just not showing up. And I think it's, as someone that works with people, when they can't show up because they're really busy, it's very different. Like, yeah, cool, versus someone that's like, oh, I'm just not showing up for various reasons, So I think Stephanie, a great example to so many people, and I think you should carry on shining the light. So,
Elliot, thank you so much for saying all that. But yeah, you're totes right. And I've been on both sides. I'm really glad that you said that, I'm a doer, and I am now. But I've also had, decades where I've not really been doing. I've been thinking, well, mainly I've been thinking I can't. And I've had that tape cassette deck playing. But after that call from Jose, I just thought, you know what, maybe I can, but I'm going to try and see what happens. And if I can't, I can always go back to where I was, which, isn't too bad. But so glad I did. And what you said is so true. I think when people make that investment and decide to work with you or with anyone else, if they just get in there and just say, do you know what, I'm just going to see what Elliot says, I'm going to do it. And that's it. Because sometimes people say to me, they know that I did so and so program, and they might know I did 10K speaker, and they said, well, does it work? Well, I said, yes. If you go in there to make it work, because it's us who do the program who makes it work.
Right. Exactly.
So you go in there to make it work and do the work, and then it works.
Absolutely. Brilliant stuff. So, Stephanie, how do people reach out to you? How do they follow you? What do they need to do? Tell us.
Yeah, well, if you're interested in UK property and how to make money from properties you don't own, then it's at rent2rentsuccess.com, and there's a free guide and masterclass there. And if you're interested in how to blow up your life and go from decades of hiding to being out there and now getting paid to speak, but many other things, then it's all at blowupyourlife.com, and you can find out more about igniting your spark. No bottoms involved.
I love you.
No,
Love you too, guys.
I love that one. He's just like, huh?
It took Jose a while to click what you meant there.
Yeah, no,
You said bottoms. I didn't
because
originally say bottoms, just for the record.
Well,
So-
Jose had a bottom. His wife. Oh
Yes.
no,
Yeah.
no, it was you, Elliot. It was you.
yeah, lighting
Wow.
his spark up
Yeah.
his
yeah.
bottom.
And then my wife may do as well. So anyway, whatever floats my boat tonight, you guys.
Ooh, okay. Whatever it is, we hope it's not to do with your bottom. Anyway, moving on. Jose, final thoughts.
Stephanie, thank you so much. What a pleasure to learn more about your journey, where you are today. Exciting. Yes, exciting is what I want to say about where you're going next. So many things. So I would like to invite the audience listening to the podcast today to connect with Stephanie. And that is, you've shared so many strategies. And when I say strategies, the sequences of thoughts, how you think about things, and especially the last bit, which shows how you learn. So you come to any environment, to any training, and you come to me, that's my version of it, and you just come with a white canvas. Like babies come to the world, eager to learn new things. Instead of judging whatever is coming, you take in, and then taking action. And that is a recipe for success, along with consistency and everything else. So thank you so much. Elliot and I wish you incredible success. Stick around, come to the mastermind. We miss you whenever you can. Invite us to whatever, opportunities you have as well, because, we can deliver things together also. And